Hi YouTubers, it's Steve Robertson again calling from Rescape, my channel that seeks to aid and benefit people by altering their fundamental perception of reality, but not altering it, but more like introducing them to ideas that then would allow them to go search for things that would then indicate to them that there's things that they may not understand or know right now, but maybe they'd like to know more about, and how by learning these unknown things that their life can improve and how it can improve them. And today we will be talking about, or I will be talking about, again, more on wholeness. If you haven't watched my other videos, go back. For today's video, you'll want to watch wholeness and tension relaxation and purpose. And then this video is going to be about how whole people interact with other whole people. The more whole you get, the more easy it is for you to recognize more and more quickly other people who are whole. I mean, there's a lot to go into how that works, but when you get people who are becoming whole and you get them, say several of them or even just two of them in close proximity, and let's say they're like 99% whole, you will start, the interactions of these people will be such that they can be in situations where most people wouldn't be able to go because they're whole. Like, let's say, for example, let's talk about a Christian, and I'm not talking about most Christians, I'm talking about like a real Christian. And this is how you can tell if someone's a real Christian. Real Christians can heal people, can cast out demons, and can raise people from the dead. So if someone starts talking to you about God and claims to be a Christian, just ask them, well, do you think you can raise someone from the dead? Now, if they look at you like you're crazy, you just go on to the next person. They're not a Christian. Most Christians, even real Christians, probably haven't raised someone from the dead. So what they would then do would be something like this. They'd be like, huh, you know what? I don't know. I've never tried. That's interesting. I guess I could maybe in the right situation if God helped me or something like that. Now, the reason that you know they're real is because their wholeness allows them to put their mind in the situation where they would actually be raising someone from the dead. They considered that as an actual possibility, hence real faith. And by considering that and then giving you a, an honest answer, not just blowing you off or thinking you're crazy, they reveal themselves to be whole such that if they were to raise someone from the dead, that they would be okay with that. Most people, if they raise someone from the dead, they would freak out because it would destroy their ultimate view of reality and they wouldn't know what to do. They'd probably go insane. So let's say you take 10 people, 99% whole, and you put them together. If you were to watch this like in a documentary and they didn't know you were watching, you would say they have superpowers, but in actuality, the only difference between them and a normal person is that they act on what's actually there. Like for example, you could say someone walking on water. It's like, well, I've never heard of anyone walking on water. It's like, well, have you tried? Has anyone you've ever known tried walking on water? It's like, maybe you could walk on water. How would you know? It's like, oh, well, then, it had been a science experiment on it. Would scientists try walking on water? Like, let's say someone could walk on water and they told someone, would someone believe them? If someone walked on water and they told 1,000 people or handed out flyers about how they're walking on water, most people wouldn't even stay around to watch them demonstrate walk on water, let alone believe them. And they're not going to tell any of their friends because that's stupid. It's crazy. So this is one example I'm going to introduce here, and I'll go into this in future videos of why miraculous things aren't transferred publicly. It's not because they aren't real. It's because there's not an informational system to go through except through whole people. So if you were to ask a whole person, and by the way, to be able to ask these questions, you have to be a whole because you have to consider them to ask. So you'd be like, hey, have you ever walked on water before? The whole person would be like, well, you know what? I've never tried that. Or they'd be like, wow, I don't know if I could do that. Man, that would be really cool or really interesting. Like, I need a lot of help to do that or something like that. But they're answering it with an open mind. And that means so much. You think that it was just the quality of how they answer a question would be a small thing, but it's really not small at all. It tells you a lot about them. So back on the previous video, we're talking about ethics and how whole people, 100% whole people are always ethical. Now, the reason that that's not morally relative is because if, let's say, you get people that are becoming whole and they have high integrity because they're becoming whole, but they could have different judgments, leading to different ethical inclinations. So one person could seem unethical to the other person, and they could both be whole. Dagnabbit, Glow. Sorry, she just clawed my leg. Okay, so the reason that is more of an outlier than an actual occurrence is because as people get whole, become more and more in agreement in their judgments, because their judgments are made more and more based on what's actually there. Like, as people become aware of what actual reality is and just what's playing right in front of your face, then and then since there's only one real reality, and it's like, here we go, you can talk like if you're a nihilist or something like that, or what's really real, or if there's anything real, or like how do you know it's real. In this channel, I'm here to tell you that in this channel I will be giving you truth, and this is truth, that science is correct to the extent that the universe has laws. As far as we know, they don't change, and that, let's say, we build technology because things are repeatable and verifiable, and the universe, even unknown things are like that. Like, you don't get to a point, even meditating, where there's not rules being applied in some cases, independent of ourselves, that can be verified through multiple observers. So understanding this and just taking into account, the general scientific materialistic paradigm, and just expanding it to its full measure, like, that is the universe, and it is one universe, and there's one truth. And so when you start learning more and more and more, other people learning the truth are going to be learning the same thing as you, because there's one truth. And when you start learning the same thing and coming to agreement on what's actually there, your judgments will line up, because that's what judgments are based off of. It's like what you think is real. So, and as your judgments get lining up in the same, then what falls into place from that is that your morality has to line up, because morality is based on judgments, and judgments based on truth. And so if there's one truth, then there's one system of morality. So whole people can have different morality sets, but that doesn't last, because whole people, like they're becoming whole, are going to continue to become whole until they get to the point where they are approximating an agreement. And as you get to these close approximations of always being more and more fine-tuned with like truth and what's actually there, then you can start doing things that you wouldn't be able to do before, because you wouldn't consider them a possibility. And that's where real power comes from. It's not some spiritual mumbo jumbo like Dragon Ball Z stuff. It's like, it's literally, right now you have just as much power as you would have if you saw everything perfectly clear. But the difference is, either A, you don't have the knowledge or the experience, or B, you do and you're discounting it. So, and just like wholeness allows you to see the truth more clearly, when you understand the truth more clearly, it allows you, or it causes you to become more whole. So it works both ways. And same thing is true with tension and softness. With tensions will block wholeness because it blocks perception, and on a spiritual level, it makes you not want to pursue holiness. If you have tensions in your spirit, you may just go back to sleep, or you just don't want to deal with it. And then the more soft you become, the more whole you can be. So a whole person has to be soft, because if they're not soft, that means they have tensions, and then if you have tensions, you can't be whole, not indefinitely. There'll be situations that you cannot access, and you will break, because of your tensions. A judgment based off of false perception is a tension. A judgment based off a true perception is what I'm going to go into in future videos. Is structural alignment. Now, this was between tension, softness, and wholeness. There's something called what would be in a physical level structure, like your skeleton structure, but then it has its matching paradigms in mental and spiritual and other realms. So here's your introduction to that. A judgment based on truth is a structural alignment. So I'll get into more of that later. But anyway, so these are just some things to think about. Again, miracles aren't really miracles. They just seem like miracles to people that don't know really what's going on. The easiest way to know what's going on and find truth is to find God, and then it's to the extent that you maintain an actual energetic, like a real, like a connection with God that you can feel and that you have like real verifiable sources from. If you're not sure, that's not Him. It's like you'll know if it's Him. Trust me. So, and if you can find that, and I will be posting videos on how to do this later, or if you just want to comment or post in the comments, and I'll just talk to you individually. If you can maintain that connection and just have it like an on the background kind of thing, every experience in your life from that point onward is going to be something that will, if you're paying attention, it will bring you further into what's real, what's actually there. Okay, so I think that's a lot for today. Any questions, post in the comments. My name's Steve Robertson. This is Rescape, Day 9. Thanks, bye.